Hi there. I'm Tirsi, and I want to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast. Um, I'm currently in a series where I'm reading stories from my newly published book. And I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Wherever you are on your path, I just trust that you've arrived here in the perfect time and that this will be the perfect message for you. And I welcome you to show up week after week. We do just a short little snippet, stories from my book, and then just tap into some of the wisdom that I've received over these 38 years of my own recovery from 20 years of dealing with addiction, in my case, an eating disorder. And I know that we learn from one another's stories. So I share my story in the hopes that just you'll see something for yourself. Sometimes it's easier to look through the lens of someone else than it is to look through our own because we have such a perception of who we are. It's difficult to see things oftentimes in a new way. So when someone else shares something, sometimes it frees us up and we get a little bit more wiggle room and we can see something that perhaps we hadn't seen before, and it gives us a little bit of space. So, that said, welcome. I'm grateful that you're here. These are always short and quick, just a little something to have us think about as we enter into a new week. They're always released on a Sunday. So, wonderful. Grateful that you're here. Let me grab my glasses and I'm going to read you a story for this week. And the title of this is actually called History. And the date that I gave this one is 2018. And for those of you that are following along in my book, it's chapter 39. Okay, here we go. I was not very, or actually, let's do that again because it's not past tense. I am not very intelligent. While I'm often in the midst of a conversation about the impact of smartphones, I am grateful for their nearly instant source of information. When most kids were focusing on their education, I was either swimming or trying to find or avoid food and all the events that included food. I excelled at people skills, keeping track of where others were and what they were doing. My internal chatter was always assessing my surroundings, as if planning an escape route. I prided myself on being super observant. My survival depended on it. While my skills have served me well, I have often felt like I was on the outside looking in. An evening now, snuggled up on the couch with my husband, watching a documentary film or historical drama, feels like catching up on classroom hours lost long ago. So, the message on this chapter is let yourself invest in lifelong learning. So, I just want to encourage you, oftentimes those of us who have dealt addiction, I don't know, feel as if we missed out or we lost something and perhaps are unable to ever retrieve it or get it back. And I just want to encourage you. Like, I've noticed, sure, there was a lot of time where I could have been learning more, and instead I was surviving my circumstances, dealing with the experience of having been a victim and yet committed to not living in victimhood. And so doing the healing work to free myself from the grips of that. But I just want to encourage you. Education, knowledge, knowing things is readily and always available. Perhaps more now than ever before with the access of information just in our pocket on our smartphone. So while I don't recommend that you spend maximum amount of time on your phone, you do have a source of information and you can manage what it is that you're watching or listening to so that you are always investing in what I call lifelong learning. So rather than living in some situation where you find yourself in regret or remorse, take the steps to just invest in learning now. Because remember, right now, right here is actually all the time we have. What's past is past, what's future isn't here yet. But right here, right now, you can invest in who it is you're committed to being and what it is that you're committed to learning. Okay? Have a beautiful week. Once again, as usual, if there's someone you think would benefit, invite them. Invite them. Remember, an invitation is who I am is love, and I am here to serve you. An invitation is a way to be of service to others. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next week. And thanks again for being a part of the journey.